The views expressed by the guests on the Sias du Plessis Show are their own and do not represent the views of the show or its host. Hello and welcome to the Sias du Plessis Show. Thank you to everyone that has liked and subscribed. We appreciate your time. Today's guest, well, he's rather outspoken. He is a household name in South Africa. He's been on national television, he's been on national radio, and now he's very much in the podcast space, as well as trying to clean up Johannesburg's CBD. DJ Warras, the Shady Lurker, joins me on the show. Let's get into it. DJ Warras, Shady Lurker. How are you, my man?
What's the story, boy?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Thanks for making time.
My former colleague and my bra threw me away. Went to go live in Australia and chow Australian dollars. Now you back. It's like, Sias, come on, dude. We all know what you're up to.
Yeah, well, we're back and
we're back.
Doing our thing.
We're still here. Try to get rid of us.
But our paths crossed at 5FM back in the day, man.
Yes, sir. 10 years ago.
Bad time flies.
12 years ago.
Jeez.
Like 2013, 14.
It's mad, eh?
It's mad, bro.
Good times, though.
Very good times, and also, like, I think the last of an era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like after us, like the 5FM of us, and then the 5FM that followed is not the same 5FM. I think it was like the last of a generation type of radio. And I pretty much feel like that about all the jobs I've had on radio. You know what I mean?
And you're done with radio now?
I wouldn't say done. I just think that, like, when you're on radio and you're sort of coming up and you're building your brand, you take it a certain direction. And when taking that direction, you need to behave, speak, and act in a certain way. And then at some point, you're like, okay, cool. I'm now going to behave, act, and speak in this way. And it kind of, that essentially makes you no longer eligible for radio. That's how I feel largely. Okay. And I would say around 2020, like post-COVID, is when it really, like, it started to show. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff we were saying online, a lot of the stuff we were saying on radio became a problem. I was on radio throughout COVID.
Yeah.
And then sort of like post-COVID, there was like a year or two where it was still like hot. You had to watch what you say. And I was getting a lot of heat, bro. I got cancelled for commenting on every issue.
Yeah.
That's a major issue globally. I would get into so much trouble, and then the radio station would be like, hey, dude, you're killing us. What's the story, But they couldn't fire me because no one fires Lionel Messi or Ronaldo. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll try to tidy it up.
Yeah.
But at some point, you're just tidying up too much and then you want to kind of speak freely. But what I noticed is it resonated with the audience. So I'd say when the podcast gap came along, I kind of just get on podcasts and I say what I think and I say what I mean, I don't apologize for anything I say here, regardless of who it offends, because I think people have started moving towards that realness factor. And that, you can do that and you can be happy like me, but you need to understand that you can't go back now and be Warras from 5FM in 2014. It's not going to happen. Too much has been said now.
Yeah, there's been a lot said, and we'll unpack that as they all say on all the podcasts these days. We'll unpack that. But
and hey, it's not to say I won't. You know what I mean?
No, of course. If the opportunity,
I'm going. In this economy of Cyril's, I tell you, get all the chicks you can. Hit me up.
I've actually heard of a few stations rebranding and popping up in the Midrand area. So who knows? You never know.
Put in a word for me there, Sias.
The podcast, it's flying. Congrats, man.
Thanks,
I think you guys are kicking ass there, and that editorial ceiling that you sort of hinted at with radio, you don't have that.
You don't have it. You've also got like long form discussions, which is a whole different type of broadcast. I learned. I actually did. I co-hosted with Sabi. He's on Metro FM Breakfast, and PH wasn't. PH is in Dubai, so Sabi was standing in for PH. He's a friend of the show, guest of the show. He's on the biggest breakfast show in the country,
Massive.
And he was like, "Yo, dude, that was cool." Right, but I prefer being the interviewee because every day what I do is I talk in 7-minute speech blocks, maximum. If I do an interview, it's 7 minutes and then I'm out. It's the news. And now we're here and we're talking for an hour and a half. It's like, yo, dude, I felt like I'm running out of stuff to say. But it's challenging, but obviously we managed it.
Yeah.
But I also had to learn that in the beginning. Fortunately, I talk a lot. So shout out to Penwell. He's the first person who invited me on a podcast here in the modern era. Before that, I'd been on one with Mac G in 2019.
Okay.
I was one of his first guests. And I had so much fun. I was like, yo, dude, I said to him, dude, this thing is a vibe.
Yeah, I want to do this again.
I want to do this again.
And it sounds to me like you're in a really good space at the moment.
No, I always am, yes. I'm an eternal optimist, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of what people say about the country or the economy or the industry, I'm kind of like, I feel like as long as you're able-bodied, you're talented, you're willing to work hard, nothing can really get you down. You know what I mean? And what are the things that we really complain about? You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Could be worse, bro.
Could well be.
Could be worse.
I think I'm always fascinated to hear like that shift into the podcast space, like where we are at the moment, and what you make of the landscape in South Africa, because we're not realistically anywhere near where the US or
100%,
other world podcasts are, the UK. But we are catching up very quickly, and the audience is becoming more educated towards what podcasts are available and how to consume the content.
Very true, yeah.
Because I think there's also a bit of trust breakdown with a lot of the sort of news that we're consuming at the moment, especially on social media.
100%. I think on social media and mainstream media, what people have sort of realized is that, these ones... it's not the same. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because they are stuck in that formatted box of how they broadcast, how they bring us the content.
Yeah.
It's getting boring because it limits you as to how far or how far you can push it.
True.
And then here come these mavericks on the podcast landscape. You know what I mean? That are doing stuff that the South African audience, honestly, I think only really cottoned on to less than 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Whereas the Americans cottoned onto it 10, 15 years ago. Where I see it like really having an impact is when people in the TikTok comments or people in the YouTube comments compare a lot of the content that we have, what we put out, to American content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't understand. They might be critiquing or they might be insulting. That's fine. If you think of me in the same frame of mind as you think of Joe Rogan or flipping, I don't know, Logan Paul, Impulsive, or if it's about sport and you're thinking of me in the context of Barstool Sports, bro, thank you. That's a win. Because obviously we don't have the budgets, we don't have the audience numbers, and we don't have the sponsorship that Americans do.
Yeah.
So to say that we're even pulling off a similar job with about 100 times, 1,000 times less the money, I think it's honestly, it's a vouch in the right direction. I think it's also a space where a lot of creators, I don't know if they know it yet, or from what I've seen, especially with social media, and it's in other industries, yes. It's not as much in broadcast as it is in things like, fashion, beauty, fitness, the music, entertainment. If you look at a lot of the stuff that the guys are doing, it's internationally inspired. And the way that it shows up on our social media channels and then the way that it's discussed and broken down on our podcast, I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
And I wish creators would understand that you don't need to have an open up the industry discussion. Wherever I go, people see me, they know me from Live Amp and SABC One, which was huge, the Man Cave on Mnet, now Mzansi Magic, because I've got a new show that started on Mzansi Magic now in October, and then radio.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm not that guy anymore. So it's been really cool to bump into people like fans over the past 15 years. I've never met a 45-year-old boer timer in a two-tone shirt driving a Hilux who says to me, "You are very brave." It's like, where do you know me from? You don't look like you watch Live Amp. It's like, I like your podcast.
Well, that's great, though.
You know what I mean? It's just like reaching a completely different audience.
And to your point, it is people sharing it on social media. They're
100%.
finding the clips, or you posting the clips, and the reels are going out, and this Umi is sharing it with this Tunny, and this Tunny is sharing with her Umi.
Now I'm showing up in the Afri Forum WhatsApp group. They didn't even invite me.
You might even be considered to run for mayor.
I swear. And Roots won't stop DMing me.
Oh, wow.
I lost my 8.
But it's a great space to be in at the moment. I
100%.
think it's been welcomed. I think people are consuming it in the most incredible amounts. I mean, the consumption hours, you name it. But what we were talking about just before you came in here, and you say a lot of people coming up to you, and it's about the podcast and the
it's about the podcast, yeah. It's about the clips. But something podcast related, yeah.
you're saying what they were thinking.
Yes, I am.
You
I'm
know,
trying
you know
to.
what I mean? So
Well, I'm thinking it too.
yeah, no, of
Yeah.
course, we're all thinking it. Like, you can take anything that's happening in our news cycle, which is wild,
Dude.
like Hollywood
Like a
script
movie.
stuff, right? And say what you're thinking, right?
Yeah.
And most people are saying it at home to their better halves,
That's it. Yes.
or in their car, on the phone to a mate,
Or at
on a
brides.
WhatsApp group at a bride.
That's it.
But podcasts, social media provides the platform
Yes.
for someone like you to go.
And it provides the space
Yeah.
for you to properly articulate your point
Yeah, exactly.
and break it down.
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, Penwell's my good mate, right? I would say the first clip that went viral, where I saw that, no, this thing is powerful. I was on Penwell's podcast and I was making reference to a tweet I'd seen where, you know, race in South Africa is like the biggest topic, is always trending.
Yeah.
And I was actually being sarcastic because I was trying to make the point that, honestly, the race discussion is stupid, right? Yes, it might be important, but in order of priority, if you look at our list of problems in the country and
It's a
how do
long
we
list.
solve them, it's a very long list. And in my version of that list, race is not even in my top 10.
Yeah.
I won't lie. I feel like there are other major issues that we need to come together on as a nation first.
Yeah.
Then, honestly speaking, if we fix the top 6, the ones beneath that,
The Champions League
that's
bases,
it, brother.
right?
When you fix 1, 2 becomes
Yeah.
easier. You fix 2, 3 becomes easier. 3, 4 becomes easier, and so on and so forth. By the time you've fixed 10, whatever's at number 21, we fix in a few
Yeah.
days. You know what I mean? So I was making that point regarding race, and the tweet had said that colored people don't consider themselves African. That's all the tweet said.
Yeah.
And on the comments on the tweet, because it went viral, a lot of colored people took it to mean that colored people don't regard themselves as black African, as in their skin color. And I think the author and a lot of the other comments took it to mean Africa, the continent.
Yeah.
So this whole discussion starts because obviously comments can be misconstrued when
Sure.
you're trying to articulate yourself in 10 words or 100 and 280 characters.
Yeah.
That's
No, you're
where,
spot on.
and I found it so interesting when I read this thread. So when it was brought up on the Penwell podcast, and he said, "Yeah, but you are colored. You know what's going on in colored community?" I said, "No, my brother, I'm not colored anymore. I've retired from being colored. I now identify as a Mexican Zulu." You know, I was being facetious.
Of course.
Now that was clipped and it was
Oh,
shared. I
man.
promise you,
It went
like
mad.
bro, it had tens of millions
Yeah.
of views, and everywhere I went till now, people that, as I say, these wouldn't be my run-of-the-mill ordinary fans that watched TV or listened to radio, are like, you're not colored anymore. They still remember that clip.
Yeah.
So it showed me the power of the platform.
Yeah.
Right? And after that, I said to Penwell, "No, yeah, we're on to something. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just take the brakes off, my friend. Let's operate." So anything he would ask me about government is people's genuine, the way they want to react
Yeah.
when they're having the discussion at the braai or having the discussion at the office or on the phone with the mate. They want to swear and they want to go mad.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's almost like when I'm doing it, they're like, "Man, fucking guy's right." Do you know what I mean? So they then share the clips, and I think that creates this viral, you know what I mean, the viral nature of social media, which is fantastic. You know, I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
But now that it's happening, I also feel like we as podcasters, we are essentially the custodians of this platform.
Yeah.
So we've also got to try and see, okay, cool. How do I maximize this thing's impact so that it can actually make a change of some sort? Whether it's a change to your bank balance because you're making money from it, that's fantastic because then it encourages others to create their own platform. And now you're doing something entrepreneurial. You're not waiting, isn't there a job there? Trying to work at the SABC, trying to work at
Is
Prime
my
Media.
contract going to be renewed?
That's it, brother. Now you're sweating every year in March. No, you start your own thing. You understand?
Making me feel anxious thinking about that memory, bro.
Brother, also sweating in March. Never me. I was like, "Pfft,
No, but you, the Messi,
brother, I
the
knew
Cristiano
I'm in.
Ronaldo, you know?
I'm Ronaldo, brother. I was thinking to myself, you fire me? Remember Justine Cullinan, our boss at Five? I
done
share
amazing
something.
things, though,
She
babe.
has.
She's done
Listen,
amazing
I got mad love for Justine. But when I worked at 5FM, it was it was before podcasts, right? So jeez, I'm gonna get
She took
cancelled.
my access card when I resigned. She's like, "You can't have this." She's like, "How did you get up here?" So I had my access card. And I'm like, "You mean this?" And she's like, no, you have to hand it in. I was like, oh, well.
Oh, well, okay.
Okay. Well, then.
And that's a lie.
I'm
I
outta
kept
here.
my access card for like 2 years. I was in and out
But
of
you
there.
need it for TV, then.
Yeah.
So how do you get to TV?
You get one access
Have the
card.
radio.
It was like an ID card.
It's like faded orange. It was terrible.
So, dude, I went on air and I was speaking to, there was an international group that was in the country, Race Remit. And I met them on Live Amp. And we just hit it off, you know what I mean? They were young boys. Me, I was the oak that time. And they were like, yo, man, what's up? Which club we going to? Whatever, whatever. And I was like, bro, we're going to Taboo. You know the story. I said, Uncle Chris, what's the deal?
Yeah.
It's like, come through, bring those oaks. So when we pulled up at Taboo, it was a mess. Club was full. And needless to say, there were a lot of ladies trying to get into the area that we were in. And I was trying to manage the table because I'd organized the section thing, you know what I mean? And then obviously I was monitoring because, listen, I'm shallow. So I was like, no, you are hot, come inside. You are fat, skedaddle. They're like, it is what it is. Sorry, guys. And then there were a few that were like on the outskirts that weren't invited, that had these big bags, these handbags. And in Zulu, like the joke they would make about that is they'd say, uhamba ngeskidlava. Skidlava means, it's like a slang term for where am I sleeping. Okay. So because I don't know where I'm dosing, I just come to the club with my overnight bag, right? But it looks like a handbag, but it's a massive handbag. So they're moving there with their skidlavas. And I'm speaking to Dumi. I'm like, you know, I'm telling the story. And I'm like, friend, I'm trying to hang out with Race Remit. This is my opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Sias, it's Race Remit, Sway Lee, the other broer, Mike Will made it. And
I don't know when this might happen again.
Yes, dude. And I'm like, yo, this is a plug for me because they're going to go back to America and say, you know what I mean? I was at that stage in my career where it was like that, like mattered to me a lot.
So Ronaldo at Manchester United.
Bro, Ronaldo at Manchester United before he got...
The first one.
Yes, before he got Invisalign, when he still had the skew teeth. That Ronaldo.
Okay, got you.
Right? So these girls were just forcing to get into the area with other guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously because I was telling the story and, you know, you get carried away, I was like, friend, and I'm like, no, you can't be in this area, you slut, bags. You know what I mean? And I was like, they slut bags because of the bag thing. And we had the biggest lach. And the next day when Roger came to work, he opened, remember he used to hand over to me and he was like, Warras, what's happening with the slut bags, boy? Jeez. And slut bag, for about 3 days, slut bag was the trending word. People were tweeting about it, also calling in, were like, hey, slut bag.
It went mad.
It went mad, right? And that was just like one of those genuine radio. That's what you want to create on radio.
Yeah.
So I thought it was brilliant. Tim's uncle thought it was brilliant. Justine did not think it was brilliant. And then somebody, I won't say, I don't even know what her name was, but like, you know, picture in your head the feminist meme woman.
Okay.
Right? When you look at her picture, you're like, oh, of course you would say that. She wrote a blog. Remember there were blogs?
Yes, yeah.
And she was like, well, Warras objectifies women and Tumi Foster roars with laughter at Warras belittling women, blah, blah, blah. The other night, I'm listening to 5FM and here's this misogynist womanizer, you know, Mazapus says these chicks are flipping slut bags. And I was so shocked to hear it. And I wonder what 5FM is going to do about it. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares?
Yeah.
Bro, that blog, do you know how many views it got, bro? In 2 weeks.
No idea.
Take a guess.
Thousands.
2.
2.
Okay. The author and Justine Cullinan.
Okay.
They're the only people who read it, boy.
Oh, wow. 2 people.
Brother, you know what Justine does? She emails the woman and says, this is shocking. I can't believe this bra said that. Don't worry, we will take it up. So what does the chick do? She takes that email, which gives credence to what the nonsense she wrote, and she sends it to Times Live and Sunday World and Sunday Sun. And she's like, look at this, bro. Next thing, there's article. The article is still online till this day. You understand?
In my notes,
it honestly gave that blog the credibility it needed for the story to blow up.
Yeah.
Nothing came of it, obviously, because at BCCSA, they were like, oh, slut bag is not even a word. But I was in trouble for it. You know what I mean? Now it was like suspension chats and what's this out doing? And you know what I'm saying? And I just felt like this is the thing. You see, you're working in radio. You want to feel like management has your back. I'm here. I'm not here. Honestly, Sias, I don't set out to offend anyone that's listening, bro. I'm trying to share knowledge. I'm trying to articulate myself and
entertain
and process and like process my thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then put it in words in a way that you understand. It might offend you.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care. But I'm saying it so that you can hear it and maybe it will change your thinking. Maybe it will upset you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as something is invoked. You understand? I did the same thing on radio. I was trying to create magic where these are the moments that live forever. And that was one of them. So you want management to back you up.
Yeah.
To say, this is our guy.
The talent.
You understand? The talent. You don't want them to be the only person who read the blog and then reply to this bitch. What is happening here? So that was, you know what I'm saying? It was one of those moments where I was like, I can see my days are numbered.
Yeah,
because you can't create with true creative freedom.
Yeah.
When you are inside these guardrails that you have to follow. But it was great. Slutbag is trending till this day. Fantastic.
You don't,
Cheers.
I mean, a lot of people describe you as controversial, but you never set out to be controversial. No. You're speaking your mind, right?
That's it.
I think of someone like Gareth Cliff, for example. There's times when he speaks his mind and he's controversial and he questions what's happening.
He does.
He puts it through the Gareth Cliff lens.
Yes. And then he articulates it in the Gareth Cliff way.
In a brilliant way.
That's it. But at the same time, you know it's Gareth Cliff.
Absolutely.
So it still surprises me that people come and say, geez, like, how could Gareth say that in 2025? It's like, it's Gareth.
It's Gareth.
How would you prefer he says it? Would you like him to articulate it as Sias?
Exactly.
It's not going to work.
Not going to work.
No ways.
I could only dream to articulate it in that way.
And if you know Gareth, because this is the other thing, I think, a lot of the time in the entertainment industry, there's this blanket cancellation attitude online.
Prevalent.
That doesn't work. Like there's, when people really know you and they can say, no, this is my guy.
Yeah.
That's my thing. That's again, it goes back to that sort of like, what sort of protection did we really have in mainstream? Where it's like, I'm your guy. You hired me. You gave me a job. You gave me a mandate. I'm trying to execute that mandate. But when the chips are down, what do? You turn your back on me.
Yeah.
You fuck me over. You can't do that. We are bras. You understand? Gareth is my bra.
Yeah.
I understand Gareth. I know Gareth. That's why I know everything that he says. I know where it comes from.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? We share a lot of similar views and we disagree on a lot.
And you don't have to agree with what he says.
No, we don't. But I respect his right to be able to say what he says. And I wish we had more voices like that. You always want more voices like that. On your point of like controversy, you can call it controversial. But when you look at most of the topics that I comment on and you look at the country that we live in, most of the shit that's going on that we say something about is unfathomable, unbelievable,
100%.
Ridiculous, completely.
If you had to tell someone in a country that's like a first world country, this is what's happened. We have a minister of electricity.
Yeah, dude. Like, what is his job? About? We have a minister of electricity and then we have a minister of minerals and energy. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you have to tell them that, well, what's actually on the go now is we have a commission of inquiry into the police and the entire top level of government being involved in an international cartel. This is narcos, but in our government. People be like, what the fuck? Yeah. What are you saying?
Where did that come from?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ridiculous, bro.
It's true.
And then when you listen, the other day I was listening to, it's like one of those, like a hearing of some sorts with some Free State municipality, right? And they come for this hearing and then they're like, okay, Mr. Sias, last year you spent 160 million on salaries. So you are the mayor. Can you please tell us, what do you do? And the Soki's like, thank you, Chair. Thank you, members. Thank you. There's like thank yous for 5 minutes. And then he's like, in regards to what we do, we are a special department. We do special projects. And he's like, no.
Oh, wow.
What do you do? Don't tell me about this guy just back and forth for 15. He has no fucking idea what he does because he does nothing.
Yeah.
Yet they've spent the money. So a lot of the stuff is just like, it boggles the mind.
Yeah.
So when we commented on it, I think it's like an easy job for comedians because you talk shit about what's going on and you make jokes about what's going on, but it's not a fucking joke.
Yeah.
This is real life. So I think they also make it easy for us that when we are articulating our thoughts, it gives us the perfect content to speak about. And there's no substitute for that. That one, we're going to use it.
Are we too sensitive as a nation in general?
Prue, I think we're actually desensitized as a nation. There's a lot of shit that we tolerate here that if this was Bukele country, you know what I mean? If we were in El Salvador, my word, we'd have about 100 executions a day. Yeah. Because this is madness.
It is madness.
You understand? And it's also like if you look at where a lot of the incidents happen, that's my thing, is that these are not, you know, like in America, believe it or not, they're also corrupt. And if you follow a lot of the American podcasts and politics and you look at a lot of the right-wing stuff that I follow, you know, whether it's Candace Owens, or Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, I watch a lot of those podcasts. The left in America hasn't really got much to watch. But mainstream media is mainly left-leaning. Yeah. And you'd listen to like a roundtable discussion on CNN. I don't live in America. But just listening to the exchange between whoever's representing the right and whoever's representing the left, a lot of the shit they say is stupid, ridiculous madness, right? But when you listen to how mainstream media and whatever platforms they have cover for them, then you come to the right-leaning platforms and you listen to an alternate version of events, you realize that, my word, Joe Biden might have been quite corrupt. So, Nancy Pelosi and her husband are the most successful stock traders in the history of life. She's like an 85-year-old woman. What the fuck's going on? She's Michael Douglas in Wall Street. You know what I mean? Her husband is Leo DiCaprio. She's a wolf of Wall Street. These people made like the best trades of life, Sias. Yeah. But when you see that, oh, but this is the person responsible for the legislation regarding that industry, come on. It's like a no-brainer. It's so obvious. So they are also corrupt. When you hear that Hunter Biden is an international art dealer and makes the paintings himself, look at that guy and you can see he's a crack addict. Like his teeth were falling out. Like, what the fuck? Is this the same guy? What's going on? Yeah. Right? It's obviously suppressed. His laptop, when that information came out, because now it's irrefutable. Yeah. It's like, my word. It's the only thing I've seen, I think, in international media and politics that outdoes the Mkwanazi allegations. It's like this guy was just fucking whores and doing cocaine. What a rock star. Yeah. You know, what is going on? And then he's on the board of essentially the ESCOM of Ukraine. Yeah. Come on. No, you know what I mean? It's so far-fetched. It's unbelievable.
At Betway, we don't just reward you for playing. We reward you for staying. Introducing Betway Rewards. Earn points on every bet you place. It's that simple. You can also convert your points to cash whenever you like. With Betway, loyalty always pays off. Join the action today and start earning points.
Yeah. But to bring it back home, it's to say that in America, all of that stuff goes on. And I'm sure there's rampant corruption and stealing, and every president that's left the White House they come into the White House worth $1 million and they leave the White House like the Obamas worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So you look at the structure of how their stuff is executed and you start to say, okay, if I were doing that here, how would I be doing it? Sure. Because remember, our reporting on what our side is doing is not as extensive as theirs. Yeah. Our platforms, be it podcast platforms, we don't have the coverage that they do. We don't have the numbers that they do. But when you start to look into it and you say, okay, if I apply what they are doing here, a lot of things start to make a lot of sense.
That's true.
You see, there's no reason absolutely under the sun ever for anyone to have $4 million in their couch when they are in the business, of game parks, farms, mining, McDonald's, and the like. What the hell are you doing? $4 million for, you know, how much $4 million is, Sias?
No, it's
Brother, to put it in context, it is six Woolworths bags full, tied at the top in a big square like that. That's $1 million. It's a lot of dollars, bro.
That's a lot of dollars.
It's not a single-seater couch.
And just happens to be in your L-shaped couch.
How big is this L-shape? This must be a fucking choreograph boy, you know, that puffy one.
Not true.
Like, what are we even sitting on? Like, what's going on? So, you know, something like that comes to light. Yeah. And then you're like, huh? Like, you have to do a second take. Yeah. So I think people are now becoming awake to the idea that, shit, maybe these ones are robbing us blind. But the difference is in America, Joe Biden can steal $400 million, allegedly, hypothetically speaking. Yeah. And it doesn't even make a dent on the fiscus. In South Africa, if someone is stealing $2 billion out of a hospital in Tembisa, you're going to notice a difference.
Absolutely. The balance sheet is not going to add up.
That's it. It's not adding up.
Yeah.
You see, and eventually you're going to get caught. But how brazen do you have to be? If your attitude is, when I get caught, I'll just kill everyone. What?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is
Gangsters.
Bro, now we're in a whole nother league. Now,
Yeah.
You see, and I think we need to take it very seriously as a nation.
Absolutely.
So when you say, we easily offended, I think we let a lot of stuff go.
Okay.
And look, I don't know what it's going to take, but I can tell you, if they keep switching off the water for 11 days at a time, there's going to be a serious problem here. Because eventually people are going to get full of it and they're going to start fucking shit up. I just hope they direct their fuck shit up in the right direction.
Because, we can do the no electricity thing. We make a plan. But when it comes to no water, that is ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
We do a lot of work in the CBD because I've got a security company as well.
Yeah.
And essentially what we do is we come into like a hijacked building and we do like a building audit, if you will, like who's hijacked the building, who's staying in the building, because you find that
That's
when you go
dangerous
into that
work,
building,
though, bud.
Little bit, but
Okay.
I'm a dangerous oak. Sias, Jesus. What
The
do you
Shady Lurker.
We come in, we do like a building audit. You'll find like 70% of the people that are in that building will just leave willingly. They're just sort of passing through.
You just need a place to stay.
Yeah, bro. 30% of them will fight a little bit. They're probably there from before the building was hijacked and they're like, yo, I'm cool. I can pay. I can do whatever. But, I need to be planned for.
Yeah.
So you work out ways of moving forward. It's a good idea for the city because if you can get the building back and you can get it up to scratch and you can fix the plumbing, the electrical, the maintenance and everything that's wrong with the building, you can get paying tenants of whom there are thousands needing a place to stay. Low income. You're talking rentals of like 2,000 to 5,000 rand maximum, depending on the size of the unit. But once those people start paying rent, once those people start running on prepaid electricity, the rates and taxes are able to be paid by the building and it's a revenue generator for the city. No brainer.
Absolutely.
Okay? So that's what we do. But I can tell you that if you're in a 10-story building with 240, 250 units, with about 800 to 1,000 people living there, and there's no water for 8 days, my friend, that's a lot of sewage.
Yeah.
That's a lot of problems.
Well, the health risk alone.
Now, if you multiply that by every building on that street, because the whole area is out, some of them are 18 stories.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That is just it's not acceptable.
No.
That's my stance on it.
Yeah.
I've heard what the mayor said. I get the updates from flipping Rand Water and I'm like, no, fuck that. I don't want to hear that the reservoir is a crack and the fucking reservoir is not sending the water. I'm like, the shit is bubbling up onto the street level.
Yeah.
Because remember all of these buildings
This is
running
not
to the same street.
1800 London.
Bro,
18, you know what I mean? Where
What
they're
in the
throwing it
Sherlock
out the window.
Holmes? What is going on? What in the Henry V?
100% even before that. Yeah.
You see?
No, you're right.
So that's my thing. And I feel like that level of negligence is because the people in leadership positions have become so accustomed to getting away with it. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen that Boston Globe movie, the one about the Catholic priests and the abuse of boys.
I haven't seen that.
You ever seen it? Oh, man, what
I'll
is
put
it
on the
called?
list.
Put it on the list, right? It's essentially about how the Catholic Church, and I'm a Catholic myself, I'm just reiterating what the movie was about. God bless me. The movie was about a newspaper called the Boston Globe that ran with this, I think it's called Spotlight, right? It's with,
I've heard of that.
Yes,
I've heard of
it's
that.
with OG Batman.
Got you.
Right, and OG Batman / Beetlejuice, Keaton, Michael Keaton.
Thanks, Ray.
Right, thanks,
My
Ray.
producer chiming in there.
And if you watch that movie,
Yeah.
okay, you see that you get an understanding for what's going on. Watch that movie and watch Chernobyl, the series on HBO.
Yeah, that is insane.
You've watched that?
That's insane.
Right. The Boston Globe reporters found in the research of the article that they eventually wrote about the Catholic Church is that what the church was doing at a senior level is every priest that was accused of molesting boys and girls at a certain diocese or parish, instead of punishing that priest, reporting that priest, or holding that priest accountable, they just moved him from Rosebank branch to
Yeah, they
Sandton branch.
cycle them.
That's it. Depending on how bad the abuse was would determine how far they moved them. And they were just moving them around from parish to parish. And they were finding that one priest in a career spanning 50 years had ended up molesting over 90 children.
Jeez.
But they knew about what he was doing at child number 5. And they didn't put a stop to it because it became this redeployment structure.
Yeah.
Now, when you bring that back home, what does government do? You fuck up in the Department of Water and Sanitation, you are redeployed to the Department of fucking electricity.
No portfolio.
There we go.
A minister without
Minister in the
portfolio.
presidency.
That's it.
Minister of Women Affairs. Women and Children Affairs DG. You know what I mean? This is nothing personal against any minister. I'm using these departments as an example because their names sound ridiculous. Right?
Yeah.
You are just redeployed somewhere else. That can't work. If Sias is incompetent on this podcast, I can't fucking take you to the Shady podcast. You're going to fuck up there as well. Now I'm just fucking up a whole long line of podcasts because I'm putting an idiot in different...
It's just a trail of destruction.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in that Chernobyl series, I spoke about it with Penwell and he hadn't watched it. And I said to you, that moment where Kunyuk, the lady, the nuclear physicist, goes to see the minister of nuclear energy. And she's like, Chernobyl has fucking blown up. Okay? You've got
That's the problem.
radiation of 25 Romkin or whatever that is flying to this city that we are in now, Kiev or wherever they were, right? That means that at the site, bro, you've got never seen before on Earth, never recorded before, 10 times Hiroshima level radiation. People are going to die. You need to immediately evacuate XYZ area. And he says, no, I've called Chernobyl and they assured me everything's fine. The readings are nowhere above 3 Romkin. And 3 Romkin or whatever it was the maximum that the machine went to.
Yeah.
So when they were reading it, the machine was maxing out and they're like, oh, well, look at that 3.
No, we good.
Oh, we good.
We'll be okay.
And then he has a sip of he pours his vodka. Then he pushes the glass there and he sits like this. And he's like this fat slob. And she says, excuse me, that is the maximum that the machine goes to. I am telling you, I did a reading here in Kiev and it's fucking 10 times that. Meaning at the site, it's 100 times that. You need to listen to what I'm saying. I am a nuclear physicist. And he says, I am a nuclear physicist and you used to work in a shoe factory. And he drinks his drink and he says, and now I'm the Minister of Nuclear Energy.
Exactly.
To the workers of the world. Like,
exactly that.
That scene just killed me because it's like this guy's ideology is blinding him to the point where he's like, fuck it, let everyone die.
Yeah.
I make the call. And making the call and holding the title is more important to me than what my call results in. Who the fuck cares? And that's the thing. If you are prepared to defraud a hospital of 2 billion rand and give it to your friends and give it to your counterparts and fuck the patients. Yeah. If people die, if people who could have otherwise lived don't get urgent care that they need.
Cancer treatment alone.
And if people are literally like whistleblowers, honest people who are trying to fix the place are killed and you don't give a fuck. You say, oh, well, it's not my problem.
Yeah.
My brother, we cannot have leadership like that can't be who we've got at the helm. That's a fuck up.
So let me ask you this then. Obviously, Helen Zille is the DA's mayoral candidate for municipal elections. Is there hope there? Is there an opportunity where can she win? Secondly, are we too far gone? How many years will it take to get Johannesburg, economic hub of the continent, or used to be, back up and running?
I honestly think, definitely, I don't doubt her ability to do the job. I think if Helen Zille were mayor, she's fully capable of doing the job. I think the issue is, and my stance on it, I actually tweeted and I said, I don't understand what's the big idea. Like Helen Zille would be better than Dada Morero. What are we doing here? So if she's throwing her name in the hat, fuck it. Yeah. The type of support that Helen gets, I think, from her party structures and, I think that's a win. You know what I mean? However, in terms of how the DA executes their plans when running a metro, if one looks at Cape Town, and I've said this before, my thing with Cape Town is I've gone from, when you land at the airport in Cape Town, what do you see as you're coming into the random strip? Shithole city. Yeah. Okay? Then you drive past Shithole City to town. Yeah. And when you come off the highway there by the ICC, it's like, wow, look at us now.
It's a distraction.
Now we're in Narnia. And when you head up past the waterfront and make your way to the Atlantic seaboard,
another world.
Oh my God. Sea Point, Green Point, all of that section, hundreds. Yeah. Right? When I consider where I live in Johannesburg, okay? I live in Melrose. Fuck it. Come and get me. Anyway, I live in Melrose. Bro, you enter the Melrose precinct at this gate.
Yeah.
There's another gate here and there's a gate here.
Yeah.
My kids go and buy swirl ice cream inside the mall at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
alone. One is 16, one is 11. They've been doing it for 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue. I stay in the house, they make it there and back safely. Every year around December, we have the Christmas lights show. Thousands of people descend on Melrose Arch to come and watch the Christmas lights. We have big shows in the Melrose Square there. During the World Cup, we were watching all the rugby games there. It was packed. It was a vibe. Black Coffee is doing a massive show there. His Black Coffee benefit concert, I think, is in November there. So when you think about Melrose, Melrose is a fucking vibe.
Yeah.
The building I live in, access controlled. You cannot fuck around there.
Yeah.
There's been not one single fuck around incident, nothing.
Yeah.
Of all the places I've lived in the past, there's always been something. Melrose in 4 years, touch wood, fuck all.
Yeah.
But when I think about how Melrose is run, Melrose runs independently. My building has got a full grid of solar panels on the roof. We have generators in the basement. We have backup water supply from a borehole and from wherever the fuck they get it.
Yeah.
We are never without water. We are never without electricity. We pay for it,
Yeah.
okay?
A premium.
But that's how Melrose is run. I can extrapolate that example to Camps Bay. We are not reliant on the city of Joburg in Melrose. We are for whatever.
Yeah.
But, bro, for the most part, nah. Camps Bay, Clifton, going that way, from Sea Point, Greenpoint, those people are self-sufficient. Those areas run themselves.
Yeah.
When you consider the wealth that's there, and you think about it from a perspective of, if I'm Sias and I live on Nettleton Road, and I'm Warras and I live in fucking Clifton, on there above Clifton Fourth, bro, I don't need the city of Cape Town. I'm a multi-fucking 100 millionaire.
Yeah.
And me and the community forum, we've got our own security.
Yeah.
Try and do something in that area. You get shot, dead.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's A. We've got our own security. We've got our own plans for refuse removal and the maintenance of the roads and whatever. And they pay rates and taxes to the city for the city to then apply to the poorer areas.
Yeah.
Now, Alex is shit. There's many areas in Deep Sloot is shit. But Khayelitsha, Langa, Cape Flats, boss, they are worse shit.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's smaller numbers. So my thing is the DA has failed to govern over 2.5, 3 million people. Let me tell you, I work in town. The numbers that they tell you about Joburg is nonsense. I think there's fucking 10 million people here.
Jeez.
The city, when you look at how many people live in the city, how many people live in a Deep Sloot, a Zandspruit, a Alex, think of the metros here. It is a mammoth task.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the DA can manage it.
Yeah.
They've managed it before and it didn't go so well. I think the best mayor we've had was Herman Mashaba. And do you know why? He came in approaching the list of priorities in the right order.
Yeah.
If I ran the city, and I spoke about this on my podcast the other week, so I don't want to plagiarize Zimasa, but he spoke about how we as South Africans, what we do is we cede territory. I live in Hillbrow. It starts becoming guk. There's too many Nigerians. There's too many drugs. There's too many prostitutes. There's too many this. There's too many foreigners, Zimbabweans, whatever. Those are the reasons I give and I say, nah, fuck this. I'm out.
Yeah.
I move.
Melrose.
Wherever. Doesn't have to be Melrose, but
I'm just saying.
I'm getting out of Hillbrow.
Yeah.
Well, depending on how the coins are. But let me tell you, you're not going to make the jump from Hillbrow to Melrose. There'll be a few in between. Okay?
Although some might have.
Hey, I lived in Hillbrow with my mom when I was 4 or 5 years old. I went to a creche, pre-primary there
Really?
called Hansel and Gretel. Yeah,
Okay.
my mom, we lived in town.
Okay.
She worked at Standard Bank and I went to my little pre-primary there. So we were there, bro.
Okay.
We used to walk home from the bus stop.
Jeez.
Go walk home from the bus stop now. You will not make it home, depending on where you're walking.
Of course.
But town is fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
It's heavy. There's videos that go viral on social media. If you're walking through Small Street or along Commissioner or somewhere near Carlton Center, they grip all 4 of your limbs, take your stuff, and if you fight, they stab you.
Yeah.
And then they lose you there. Nobody does anything.
It's true. Yeah,
Quite right.
it's horrendous.
Lawyers are shitting themselves when they go to the High Court because you've got to park here and then you've got to trap. So they've got to have extra security, extra this, extra that. Who pays for that? They pay it themselves.
Yeah, it's
You see what I mean?
privately
It's
paid,
privately paid. So anywhere where private funding is possible, like in Melrose, the places run. It's where public funding is absolutely necessary that I think is where we separate the men from the boys.
Yeah.
And Herman Mashaba's stance was the first thing we need to do to generate revenue for the cities, we've got to take the CBD back.
Yeah.
This is unsustainable. There's over 100 hijacked buildings in Johannesburg CBD. They're still there.
And there's
Herman
some
Mashaba was
beautiful
the mayor how
buildings
long
there.
ago, bro?
Yeah.
Amazing buildings.
Those flats, I look at the size of them because sometimes GPS takes me through Yeovil or whatever. And I look at it and I'm like, what's it, Woodchester? Or there's a couple different Green Park. Like, I think back in the day of how those were built and when they were built, it must have been incredible.
That's it. You see, I mean, I drove past the building we lived in the other day. It's in Berea.
Yeah.
It's not the same building.
No.
It's fucked.
Yeah.
Right? I look at there's a lot of guys I know in town that have taken back buildings.
Yeah.
And I once went to an office of one of the major owners in Hillbrow. But if you Google that guy's name, they call him a slumlord. Right? And there's a lot of allegations of people committing assisted suicide. You know what I mean? Sias was a problem in the building. Hey, Sias killed himself.
Yeah.
Now, those are all allegations.
Sure.
But if you go to any of his buildings till this day, no fuck around read.
Yeah.
You understand? So there's a way to maintain order in town.
Sure.
That way is frowned upon in our constitution.
Yeah.
And by the human rights groups and by the NGOs. Because the NGOs are fucking problems, yes. You come into a building and you're trying to kick people out because this building has got no running water, no electricity, and it's
structurally
derelict.
is damaged.
Structurally, it is not sound.
Exactly.
It's also it's over occupancy, right? So you're supposed to have 3 people in a 4x4 room, for example, a 4x4 unit. They've got 12. They all sleep on the floor. It can't work.
Like
You're putting too much pressure. That's it.
Yeah, no.
What happens when that falls onto the floor below? It cascades.
Or the tragic fire we had.
The fire we had, 80 people died.
I mean,
but a lot of these NGOs are like, no, you've got no right to kick these people out because they need somewhere to live. So I guess they need somewhere to live, but they're living in a death trap. Let us come in, let us fix it, let us make it structurally sound. That doesn't enter the chat. But then you look at who's paying for this shit. Yeah. And a lot of these NGOs, when Trump canceled USAID, I was fucking happy because I know that a lot of the money that comes in is sent, messages are sent to America to say, help us. We're feeding 1,000 people. It costs us 2,000 Rand a month per person. We need 2 bars.
Yeah.
You're feeding those 1,000 people with 300 Rand per month and not all 1,000, maybe 500.
And you're rolling
and the rest you fucking
G-Wagon.
That's it, brother.
Yeah.
And now you're rocking up to tell Warras he can't fucking clap 1, 2 hours and throw them out. What kind?
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix the city here. So I think Herman was our best mayor. I think if Helen adopts similar thinking to Herman, who was their mate at the time, you remember they were friends then they had a fallout, it can work.
Yeah.
I do, however, honestly, I do feel that Helen Ziller, she doesn't get a fair deal a lot of the time. She's a white granny. And white grannies, bro, you know what I mean? White grannies are not the friendliest people. Just from an optics perspective, I'm bang of white grannies. You know what I mean? My kids have a white granny. I'm scared of that granny. Her name is Omagriet. You know what I mean? I'm never sure if she likes me or not. I can't just roll up in Omagriet's house. I got to phone Omagriet and say I'm at the gate. And then she says, ja, waar's jy boknek? You know? Oh, wow. I love Omagriet. But Omagriet, you know what I'm saying? She's a white granny.
Yeah.
So I feel like
they don't take nonsense.
No, they don't. But also they have that, I was watching an interview with Anele.
Yeah.
She's very reactive. And I wish a lot of the time she'd just keep, there's a lot of stuff you must skate past. You understand? Because I feel
very combative there.
Yes. And because remember what I said earlier about race being a big discussion. Yeah. Man, if you want to fix the country, you've got to get to fixing the city, sorry. You've got to get to fixing the city.
Yeah.
We can't be fixing the city while at the same time we're discussing Middle Eastern problems. Let's pause that chat. It doesn't mean we don't care.
Yeah.
But see us. If your house is on fire right now, my friend, and your wife calls, God forbid, and says, come home, the house is on fire. And I say, hey, see us, let's take a photo. Brother, my house is on fire. I got no time to be taking photos.
Yeah.
Can I then say, what a twist? Sias didn't want to take a photo with me. What a puss. I've got more urgent things to deal with right now. Right now, our house is on fire. We really need to do something because, as I said, I'm talking from a place of personal experience. I work in the fucking city. I'm telling you that when there's no water in 4 ways for 9 days, it is not even half as bad as no water in the inner city for 9 days. Because of the numbers.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
You see. And we cannot have this. If this has been going on now for about 2-3 months, where the water goes off for 4, 5 days, 6 days, 9, 10. In Bedford View, it was off for almost 20. You know what I mean? It's unacceptable, dude.
Yeah.
And whoever comes in is going to need to address that because the current mayor cancels interviews because what the fuck is he going to say? He's a knob. He doesn't know what to say. And honestly, I don't hate the guy. It's not his fault. He's just been deployed.
Yeah.
You see, he used to be a manager in a shoe factory and now he's the fucking mayor of Joburg. You know, that type of, that Chernobyl attitude.
Yeah.
That bra doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
You can see he doesn't know what to do. And I feel bad for him because it's like, this actually isn't your fault. But he just doesn't seem to have the support that he needs to get stuff done.
We're about to run out of time.
It's fine.
I've thoroughly enjoyed chatting to you, and we could talk for hours.
Ooh, we could go for 3 hours.
Tell me what you want to see happen. And, like as someone who's so close to the ground,
Yeah.
you hands-on, you hearing what the people are saying, you seeing the most vulnerable, the most desperate people.
Yes, that's the other thing.
What-
And like a genuinely,
Yeah.
I've said on another podcast before, I said that nobody really cares about poor people.
Yeah.
Because they're far away.
Yeah.
You see, it's easy not to care,
They're not at my security gate.
You understand what I'm saying? They're not at my security gates, and I never have to see them because I live in Melrose.
Yeah.
You see, if I have to go to Melrose at the meeting, the building meeting, that if I call a building meeting and I say, guys, this is the issue facing the city, I'm going to need your guys' help. I'm also going to be like, my brother, I'm busy with the big mining deal. I don't have time for this shit.
Yeah.
I can't hate that guy for saying so because it's not in people's faces all the time. But when you are there and you see these lighties, bro, it like makes me so angry.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I'm like, this is fucked.
Yeah.
This is really, really
What
bad.
option do they have?
You cannot put people into abject poverty like that and allow it to continue. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
But then again, where do they live and how do they move? You're moving in a 13-car convoy of luxury German cars. You live in fucking Sandhurst.
Yeah.
Hello. Your neighbor is Black Coffee. And on the other side is fucking, you understand?
Yeah.
You're nice.
Yeah.
Really? Do you really care about the plight of the people in the CBD that haven't had water for 11 days and the shit is
I'm
overflowing?
more worried about recycling,
Of course.
if that.
You see. So what I'd like to see happening, I think let's assume, hypothetically speaking, that this commission that's currently on the go, Mkwanazi is my guy.
Yeah.
Me, I fuck with that guy. And people were like, oh, he's not
He's
so
a
clean
brave
anyway.
man.
And I was like, I actually don't care whether he's clean or not.
Yeah.
I feel like he has paid whatever he's taken, he's paid back in souls.
Yeah.
Like Ghost Rider. Because in KZN, they don't fuck around. They send them straight to hell.
Yeah.
And that's good because we now don't have to cover the cost of 14,000 Rand of accommodating these fuckers in prison. We have to pay that
Yeah.
to keep you there for life. I don't agree with that. I feel like some people are so beyond the moral line that I think as a society we draw. And that applies across the board.
Yeah.
I would like when I commented on something like farm murders, I was saying, like, cool, we can have whatever this discussion about it's a genocide and blah, blah, blah. Let's just put that all aside. Let's just look on a case-by-case basis. Why is it that if I'm killed in Joburg CBD, I'll probably be stabbed or I'll be shot in the head and then I'm dead. But if I'm killed on a farm, I'll be tortured for 14 hours and then everybody will get raped and then they'll be forcing me. I mean, it's a farmhouse. It's not a complex.
Yeah.
So whatever you're looking for, you can find in under an hour.
Absolutely.
Why is it that people are tortured for 11, 12 hours, 2 days? It's the nature of the way the crime is executed. And I can apply the same thinking to when it comes to cash in transit heists. Why are they so well planned, well organized? Where the fuck are they getting explosives? Why do they shoot so well? Why
Can't
do they
just buy
appear to be so
explosive at
well
Checkers.
trained? No. When it comes to these hits that are happening, which happen on a fucking daily basis, these people are not hitting with 9mm. These people are hitting with AK-47s, R5s, big rounds. You understand? What the fuck is going on? Why are so many people getting kidnapped for ransom? We have an out-of-control kidnapping rate.
Yeah.
Why are so many of them foreigners? Why are Somalians being kidnapped by Pakistanis and Pakistanis being kidnapped by Ethiopians? And what the fuck's going on? Rather, let's send them all home. Let them go kidnap each other at home. Because it's creating a situation where our limited police resources are now being distributed to some sort of internal beef we don't seem to know anything about.
Yeah.
Because, you understand, the intelligence that's coming out and at least the news and the feedback that we're getting doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I think one of the first things that we need to look at is if the Madlanga Commission works, I hope to see accountability from it.
Yeah.
Not the same shit they gave us with state capture.
Zondo, yeah.
It cost us R1 billion. The man made recommendations. No one has gone to jail.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
Here we are now. These accusations that have been leveled by Mkwanazi, I think, are very serious. And I'm happy he made them. I think he should be celebrated. I think he's a hero. I don't give a fuck about what he's done or what handbag his wife got. I'll buy a handbag now, tomorrow. I'll buy a Louis Vuitton handbag. I'll send it. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Because he is actually doing the work, and the numbers that he's putting up in KZN in terms of how many people, how many crimes he's solving, and how many suspects are getting sent is good in my book.
Yeah.
Everything that he said needs to be scrutinized, and we need to have some sort of actual real world accountability coming out of this thing. After that, I hope we get leaders like Peter Groenewald. That man understands the agenda. He's talking about bring back the death penalty. And he's talking about we've got prisoners sitting in prison. A lot of them are well behaved. Why are we not using these motherfuckers to do some of the work that needs doing? Why are they not cooking for themselves, farming for them, so they become self-sustainable? Because they're fucking expensive.
Yeah.
They're costing like 10 to 14K a month
And
each.
that's taxpayer money.
Dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's more than my bills.
Yeah.
And I'm not comfortable parting with my tax money for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm really not.
Absolutely.
Serious, sorry. Oh,
Why should we be
Dude.
at this point?
A friend of mine went to jail in Zim. He got arrested he didn't do anything, but it was one of those. Zim is hectic.
Zim is
Right?
hectic.
Dude, Zim is hectic. You know, you'll be driving on a road in Zim, and I promise you, if you fail to produce the right paperwork, they take you to jail. It's that easy, right? And he ended up in jail in Zim. He sat there for 3 weeks. He lost 13 kilos.
What?
Bro, because he says, my man, it's not a fuck around. It's like one big quad that we were put in. And there's like hundreds of us in there. Okay? When the food comes, it comes in a trough. You must grab and chow.
Yeah.
The trough gets raided like a trough. He's like, I couldn't chow that.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get to the fucking trough.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And it's the most bland garbage. He's like, even if you do get something, if you manage to eat, it is disgusting.
Yeah.
And he says, there's just this attitude of, whatever, you motherfuckers are in prison, not my problem.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have committed a crime to end up here. And he's like, he didn't even really do anything.
Yeah.
You know, most of the Oaks, they don't have a lot of violent offenders there.
Yeah.
So most of the Oaks that are in there are in for petty crimes and misunderstandings and wrong place, wrong time, and wrong party in the wrong village. So everybody's scared, but fuck, they get punished. We, on the other hand, have got seriously hardcore motherfuckers. But what are we doing? We're feeding them 3 square meals a day, giving them a bed, giving them clothing. Videos leak on social media. The O's are playing PS5. They're on their cell phones. They're video calling bitches outside. What the fuck? Their life is better than mine. And I live in Melrose.
Warwick, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for making time, man, and for the work you are doing in the city.
Thank you,
Keep
brother.
up the great work. I know it's an ongoing fight,
It's an ongoing fight.
but we need more people like you to speak their minds and make a difference.
100%. Thank you, Sias. And thanks for having me. I hope we don't get cancelled, and I hope I wasn't too controversial.
No, I appreciate your time.
And I would like to just, start by saying, I know the episode's going to drop and stuff, and I just want to say that in advance, I'd like to apologize to absolutely nobody. The champ doesn't apologize.